Does anybody have any interesting stories on why they became a Broncos fan?
Interesting. I guess you'd have to define interesting. Basically, the way I became a Broncos fan was just through The Simpsons. I don't know if you've ever seen the episode where Homer gets a new job working for a new company, some guy named Hank Scorpio. And then at the end of the episode, before that, Homer had told his boss that his real dream in life was to one day own the Dallas Cowboys. So at the end of that episode, as like a joke, the writers, they gave Homer his dream of owning a football team, except it wasn't the Cowboys, it was the Broncos. And during that animation, they showed a couple of guys falling down, not catching the ball. And they made
the one that walks out his door and goes, "Oh, the Denver Broncos."
Yeah. And that's how I actually first learned about the Broncos, because I live in Chicago. So up until then, it was, Bears, everything, Cubs, White Sox, all that good stuff. Yeah. So, and then that's when I actually started getting into football, and I couldn't watch all the Broncos games because they didn't play them locally here, but I did see the Super Bowl when they played against the Falcons. And that was actually like the very first full Broncos game I ever watched. And, ever since then, up until when I graduated, and as much as I could, I watched Broncos games, and little by little, I just started to become a fan.
That's cool. It's pretty cool.
Simpsons bringing people together.
Years later, yeah.
If you're a South Park fan, you'll know they're big time Broncos.
True.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to watch that though when you've got kids and you got kids at a certain age. You're like, well, I gotta wait until they go to bed before I can watch South Park.
I actually went to high school with Matt Stone, so
that's cool.
South Park, yeah,
that is awesome.
But I'll go. I grew up in Littleton, Colorado, so Southwest Denver. I started watching the team when I was 6 years old, and it turned out to be a good year to watch them. It was 1977, and the first year they made the Super Bowl, so the Orange Crush year. So I've been hooked ever since. So that's, cartoons back then were only on Saturday morning. So I had to rely on the games, but that's how I became a fan, just being out there. And it's impossible not to get swept up in it. It was great.
That's cool.
Yeah. Mine was definitely the back when I was elementary school, 97, 98. And I was just getting into football. I was 9 years old, and everyone was a big Packers, talk about the Packers all the time at my school, even growing up in Washington State, because the Seahawks weren't really anything to write home about. And but the Packers were all anybody talked about, and I went to my first Super Bowl party with Mom's coworker, who happened to be a Denver Broncos fan. She knew the Schlereths. And it was just a great experience. They won that Super Bowl, and I was like, wow, this team's really great. And then the next year they went back, and I was locked in. 9 years old, completely locked in, and it was like my biggest team besides the Sonics at that time. And then we lost the Sonics, and so my whole world became the Broncos.
I didn't know we were allowed to bring props and share screens here. This is he just one-upped us, I think.
That's right.
That's not okay.
Oh, okay.
There you go, Glenn. What was Matt Stone like in high school?
Matt was very funny and one of the smartest kids in the entire school. He was super intelligent, just a real good guy. So it's great to see his success. He was just incredibly smart.
Did you actually see South Park when it debuted, Glenn?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, like, you probably sitting there like, I know that guy.
Oh, well, when it first came on, yes, I did. But I didn't
okay.
know anything about it prior to. I mean, I haven't talked to him in ages.
Like, I thought you'd have flashbacks. Like, he did those voices and during lunch.
Yeah.
He kept killing Kenny every day.
I did. The first game I ever watched was, I think, it was either 95 or 96. It was the Broncos and the Jets. I was living in New York at the time. And like my
That
dad turned on a football game and was like, "Hey, you want to watch the football?" I was like, sure. So I sat down and was watching, and I was like, "Oh, the team in the blue and orange looks cool." And he goes, "It's the Broncos. We live in New York, so you got to cheer for the green team." I didn't want to.
You don't
So
want to.
I cheered for the orange and blue team, and I just liked them ever since. So yeah, I don't think. Isn't that the first year that they changed to the new uniforms? Was that 96?
I believe
Or
so.
was that 95?
I think they changed the logo, the horse. They left they went from the D to the
Right. Was that in 96?
That was in
The year
97.
they won their first Super Bowl was the
97.
Yeah.
I thought it was the year before that they won, that they switched.
No, it's 97. I have the banner with the logo sting on the other side.
Okay.
So we should switch jerseys again, is what you're saying.
Well,
Yeah.
I thought it was the year that they lost to the Jaguars in the championship.
That
I
was
thought that was the year they switched. Yeah,
That
I
was
thought that was the year that they switched to their new uniforms.
No, it was the following year after that.
Okay.
It's 97.
It's awesome. I just grew up in Colorado, and my family was always watching football, Broncos fans. I didn't really, when I was younger, I didn't really get into watching football as much until I got, I remember not a lot, but I remember watching, they used to have parties all the time at the house when the Super Bowl was on, and it was the Broncos. And I remember I was just so into the game. I don't even know how old I was. I think I was maybe 9 or 10, but I was so into the game, and they lost. And I remember crying, and I think like that was the first year that I was really like, I really like the Broncos, and I really wanted them to win like all the time. So I just grew up there, and I became a bigger fan when I moved away. I think I followed them when I was a teenager, a lot, but I became like a more, pronounced fan when I moved away. So